channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a minute since I have recorded a YouTube video. Actually several months since I've posted anything on my page. So thank you so much for being patient with me, for subscribing even though I haven't been really putting out new content lately. I am excited to be back in the swing of things. I have a lot of life updates to catch you guys up on. As you can see, I changed my background. This is actually mine and Mike's bedroom. Just thought it would be a little more cozy and a nice place for me to just like sit and chill and talk with you guys. We've also updated our cameras. I'm actually using like a nice camera now and studio lighting and a microphone, so we've upgraded a little bit since I have last filmed, which is awesome. So I have been looking through my YouTube and different stats, and I have noticed that one of the best videos that I've put out is my Rover video. It seems that a lot of people are interested in learning more about Rover, my experiences with it, and just like my tips and advice. So whenever I put that video out, that was like February or March of 2017, and I have been doing it now for well over a year. So my year mark was actually in November, and I have watched a lot of dogs since I recorded that video. So I felt like I could come back in and do like an updated Rover video for you guys, and I'm gonna include some fun photos, some fun videos, and just like different things that I've experienced since the first video that I put out. So hopefully you guys will be really excited about this. I know that I am, and I guess like the best news of all is that I'm actually still participating in Rover. I am full-time with it actually. So I went back to work. I don't know if I mentioned that in my first video or not, but I went back to work for about a year. I started at that job at the end of December of 2016, and I left in the fall. So it just really didn't fit me and my personality. I really wanted to come home and like work my own businesses and do my own thing, and Rover was at the top of that list because it was something that I was already doing. So it was easy for me to get a clientele, and I was able to take in more dogs and put more time into it by being home full time. So I decided to come home and go into Rover like full time, full swing, and it's been absolutely amazing. I have met so many wonderful people. I've watched so many amazing dogs. I've had awesome experiences, and I've had like not so good experiences. So I wanted to kind of talk about both the income potential from it from the last year, and if it's still something that you guys are interested in. And then like a couple like new pieces of advice that maybe I didn't talk about with you guys before. So like I said, I did come home to do Rover full time, and I honestly just like dove right into it, and I have been watching dogs like honestly non-stop since probably September. So I have not had a dog in my house since September. So we pretty much go every single day with at least one dog. We might have like a one day or two like through the week where we're like in a transition phase between one dog coming and going and another one coming and going. So we might have like a day or two off to kind of recuperate and like get the house clean, and then like there's another dog coming in, which is amazing. So I have been using Rover a lot, but I also noticed that a lot of people that have booked with me and they needed like a full-time sitter, not like every single day, but like somebody that lives in the area that I do, and they need a sitter all the time, like on a whim, where they can just like text me the night before and say, hey, you know, can you watch my dog? Could I drop them off tomorrow morning? Like, are you around? Is that okay? I have established a lot of those relationships with people, and I don't even need to really use the app as much anymore, like once I built that comfortable relationship with them. So I have like 3 or 4 different people that I watch their dogs every single month because they go on business trips, they travel a lot, they go on a lot of vacations, and they're not able to take their dog with them. So there's one dog in particular that I watch all the time. His name is Hoffa, and he's a Dalmatian. He's amazing. He's therapy trained. He's so well behaved, and my dog Ellie absolutely loves him, and he's just become such a huge part of our family. And we decided with the couple that we really didn't need to use the Rover app anymore, because like we built that relationship with one another. So they trusted me, I trusted them, and they actually just pay me in cash, which is absolutely awesome, because then that 20% fee isn't being taken away from me. And yeah, like they know that I'll take their dog to the vet if something happens with it. We're actually great friends, so good of friends now, to the point where I actually take my dog to their house to like have sleepovers and play. So that's like the kind of relationships that you can build with people and the kind of networking you can do. I've become really great friends with them. There's another dog that I watch pretty often. His name is Brody. He's an Australian Shepherd, and his dad brings him here often. His dad's in law school. He does a lot of traveling, and he said, you know, I need to be able to have somebody where I can text them on a whim and be able to just like drop Brody off. So since I'm working from home, we don't go out of town a lot. He knows that he can count on me to bring Brody here, and he pays me in cash, which is great. So we started off on the Rover app first. We built that comfortable zone and like that connection, and they just wanted to know that they could trust me and that the extended stay went well. And like once it did, they knew that they could not like go through the app all the time. So they were comfortable enough to not use it anymore. So that's like awesome. I am still bringing in dogs that are new. I actually have watched a couple different dogs this month where, you know, they've never booked with me before. They used the app, and it was an extended stay. So I'm filming this video right now. It's January, and so as you guys know, I just went through the holidays, which was Christmas and New Year's. So I had 2 major extended stays where they actually left their dogs with me for almost 15 days. It's a very long time, so you can imagine the trust that the owner had for me to leave their dog with me for that long. And the pay from it was amazing because it was during the holidays. So that's something for you guys to think about, because whenever I first started over a year ago, I never thought about the income potential like over the holidays, but you can actually raise your rates during any holiday. So Christmas, New Year's, trying to think what else, Easter, 4th of July, like your standard holidays, you're able to charge more for it, which is great. So that 15 days, you can imagine like how much that added up, and I was able to create my own rates. So that was pretty cool. I will tell you guys that through like the last year, I've had some not so good experiences with dogs. And my best piece of advice that I can give you is please, please, please make sure you schedule a meet and greet first. So before you bring the dog into your home, especially if you have children, cats, or dogs of your own, obviously, just make sure that you schedule a meet and greet ahead of time so that you guys can meet in a comfortable location, whether it's outside your home, at a public park, or even maybe like the pet store. Just make sure that the dog is going to be good in your home, that the dog is going to be a good fit, that they are safe, they aren't super aggressive, that they don't have issues about like being left, past trauma, like maybe they're adopted and they've gone through some stuff in the past, and being like left behind can make them scared. So we had a couple not so good experiences. One I can't bring up at this time, but in the near future I can, because there's like some legalities behind it that I can't really mention. But I will say there were a couple dogs that I watched that were sweet, but I wish I would have just met with them beforehand. Their owners didn't tell me that they had food aggression. Maybe they didn't actually know that their dog was toy aggressive and food aggressive, and that they had to eat by themselves. So that was something that I had to learn, and like the dogs would snap at Ellie, they would growl, they would lunge at her and attack her. So there was like a lot of like dominance issues and stuff. So I just wish I would have had a meet and greet ahead of time so that I could really discuss that with the owners and figure that out. There was one woman in particular who had booked with me super last minute. She said, you know, this is last minute. My babysitter fell through for my dog. I am going out of town to Tampa. Would you be able to take my dog in like today? And I said, well, like, due to the circumstances, I am available, I'm open, I'm not watching any dogs right now, so, like, sure, I'll go ahead and watch your dog for you. Well, whenever the dog ended up arriving here, it was a horrible situation from the start. The dog wouldn't get out of the car. It was snarling at me, showing its teeth. It was not good, and you can imagine how I felt because she wanted to leave the dog at my house and like go out of town to Tampa, and I have a dog of my own, and I honestly thought like it wanted to hurt me. So I had to look at her and unfortunately say, I'm not comfortable with watching your dog. You're going to have to find somewhere else for him to stay. And it was just a really awkward and horrible situation that I had to be put in because she tried to book with me last minute. She didn't want to do a meet and greet first, and her dog had obvious aggression issues and fear of being left. He was adopted, so I'm not sure like what his past was, but it was frightening. So that was like one of the worst experiences I've had. He just was trying to attack me and do a lot of crazy, scary stuff, and I just had to like flat out say, I'm not comfortable with watching your dog. You're gonna have to put him in the car and go somewhere else. Like, I'm so sorry. And she like at first wasn't having it. She, was like trying to get the dog to butter up to me, and he wanted nothing to do with me. So there are going to be times where like not every single situation that you're put in with a dog is going to be a positive one. So that you just have to make sure you go into it with a professional view first, because obviously, if you're a dog lover like me, you always want to see the best in a dog. But not all the time they're going to be a good fit for you, and that's just something that you need to assess and make sure that you approach it professionally with the owner, but at the same time think about your safety first, your family's, and like your own animals, because you don't want something bad to happen, especially if you're not around or in the middle of the night. Like, it's not good. So please guys, like, the best advice I can give you, if you're going to be doing Rover, go into it with an open eye and make sure you schedule a meet and greet first. If you've never met the dog before, make that a requirement. I want to meet with your dog first in a public place or outside my home so I can make sure they're a good fit and you know where your dog is going to be staying. It just makes your life so much easier. So enough with the negative talk though, and kind of back to the positive. Leaving my job was really scary. It was stressful. I was going through like a lot of anxiety and like mild like bouts of depression, just because I felt like almost like being almost 30 now. I'm turning 28 this year. I just was like, what am I doing with my life? What's my purpose? And being able to watch these dogs was extremely therapeutic for me. So the income aside and the potential to earn money from it and just like doing it for myself and my sanity, it was extremely helpful to have these dogs here, so I could put all of like my sadness and my negative energy into playing with the dogs and cuddling them, taking them on walks into the park, and it just really helped me out during a time in my life when I needed it the most, while I was just like trying to get my ducks in a row and like figure out my career and what I wanted to do. It was so nice to be able to have that to back up on. So, if you guys are having problems with a job, if you're going through, anxiety or like, bouts of sadness, or maybe you're just in a weird transition phase in your life and you need something different, I highly suggest doing Rover. The dogs are just amazing. They're therapeutic. And it's been an amazing journey for Ellie too. I cannot explain to you guys how many different dogs I've watched. I've watched Chihuahuas. I've watched 2 sets of Golden Retrievers. They were amazing. I watched little like terriers and oh my gosh, like Australian Shepherds and Pit Bulls and Rottweilers and Huskies and mixed cute little mutts and just all sorts of dogs. It's been a huge variety, and it's just made Ellie such a well-behaved, versatile dog. Like, she's amazing. We can go out in public and she's amazing around other people's dogs. We can go to the park. She's just great. And I know that doing Rover like really helped with that in her training. So it doesn't matter what kind of dog comes here. She gets along with every dog, which is great. So it'll be good for your dogs too. To kind of go into the income potential behind it, because I know that's something that a lot of people ask, like, can I make good money from it? And you absolutely can, especially if you take in a couple dogs at a time. It obviously doubles and triples every single night, so that can add up really quick. Just make sure you factor in that Rover does take a 20% fee from you. That's obviously standard for anybody that's running a business, because they got to be able to pay for their insurances, they got to be able to pay for lawyers and like all sorts of stuff that they got to handle as a business. So it's not going to be free. 20% isn't like huge and detrimental. But just remember my little secret on the side. When you start to become really good friends with these people, you don't have to keep using the app if you don't want to. If you become friends with them, you can like do stuff through Cash App or PayPal, or cash in general. That's great too. But I will tell you guys, between I hate talking about money, and obviously I would do it for free, but I know like this is of interest to people. So in the last year, and I will tell you guys, I didn't go all in with Rover until I left my job. So I watched a couple different dogs while I was at my job, and Mike and I would like flip our timing. Like, he would watch the dogs during the day while I was at work. I'd come home and he would go to work and I would watch the dogs. So they weren't here alone, and the people were okay with that, but we didn't do it often because it was hard on us. So basically, through a couple stays between January until August, I left my job at the beginning of September, a couple different stays, but basically from August until the very end of 2017, so December of 2017, I made right around $6,000. That blows my mind. So that's between the app, cash, PayPal, as a total, that's how much it's been, with repeat stays, extended stays, holiday stays, and I don't know if I'm missing anything, but that's $6,000 that I never would have had if I wouldn't have decided to sit for Rover. That was an amazing side hustle income that I was able to bring in for my family. It paid our bills, it fed our mouths. It was a savings towards our next home that we would like to purchase. That's amazing. So I'm so thankful for it, and I'm just happy that a year ago I decided to go out on a whim and apply to be a Rover sitter. I didn't know how much it was going to change my life and how much I would love it. So I've taken a lot of photos and a lot of videos in the last year, so I'm going to actually add that on to the end so that you guys can see all the different dogs that I've watched and how much fun Ellie has had, and the different families that Ellie has stayed with too, the people that we've become really great friends with. That way you guys can like really get a visual of what this can be like for you. So I will say the positives have far outweighed the negatives. I've only had 1 or 2 bad experiences. Then a couple different times where there was some food aggression and like cuddle jealousy, and I had to like separate the dogs, but other than that, it's been great. So if you're comfortable enough to bring in a couple dogs and really go in with this, the income from it's amazing, but most of all, it's just like, it's so fun to watch dogs. I love it. I would do it for free, but luckily through the app I'm able to get paid and bring in a fun income for my family. So it would definitely be life-changing for you too. My last tip is make sure that you guys can handle the different dogs you're bringing in. We have opted out of watching puppies because we own our condo and we're actually trying to rent our condo out this year to move, and we didn't want any like potty training puppies or teething puppies in the house because it would be something that we would have to replace, and we're not wanting to deal with that right now. And we ended up watching this like really huge husky. I might have mentioned that in my first video, but he just was way too big for our condo and he was a little bit aggressive, and he peed on our Christmas tree. We loved him. He was a sweet boy, but it was just a little much for our condo. So on the app itself, I went in and I changed it around and I said no dogs over 100 pounds. And no dogs with like aggressive issues. So that's just something I had to learn all along the way and kind of change around. But now, like, anybody that has a dog over 100 pounds isn't able to book with me because it filters me out, and it just makes me a lot more comfortable because I know it's something that I can't really handle. So definitely factor that in. Wherever you guys are living, make sure you can handle that. So I would say that's about it. My year in review with being a Rover sitter, it has been wonderful. I highly suggest it for anybody that is able to do it. I know it's not offered right now in every area, but it's growing like crazy and more people are becoming sitters. On my first video, a ton of people loved it and they were commenting on it and asking a lot of questions. So I know that this video was probably of interest, but my year in review is completely amazing and positive. I'm going to continue on with Rover, and I'm just going to let you guys see these cute photos and videos at the end. If you have any questions at all, please comment below and let me know. I'd be happy to help you out. Give me a follow on my social media accounts. They're in the description box. Ellie actually has her own Instagram with it's like all of her like Rover friends. So if you like want to keep up with me and what I'm doing with Rover, you can actually go to Ellie's account and all of like the dog photos and stuff will be over there, which is super cute. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. Make sure you subscribe and we will talk soon.